Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a Titanfall commentary for you about desires and free will because they interact with each other in ways that most people don't often think about. To be honest with you, I very rarely think about it, even though it's true. And the gameplay that you're going to be seeing is me using the amped shotgun. Then I'm going to move over to the R97 SMG. I think I died twice in this commentary, so I'm going to be alive a lot. And I also do a little bit of Titan work. I'd say about 25% of the game is spent in the Titan using the accelerated chain gun, which is pretty fun. But this video kind of popped in my mind because I really wanted to play more Titanfall beta. The Titanfall beta is closed, but I want to play more, and even though I don't really need to be playing more, what would be in my best interest would be doing more Call of Duty stuff for the channel or more Minecraft or something like that. I just want to play more Titanfall, and it occurred to me, something that I read a while back and what I want to share with you today, is that you can't will what you want. You don't get to decide the things that you want. Of course, yes, you can decide today I want chocolate ice cream because that's what's going to float my boat, but that inkling in your stomach, that little idea in your brain, the motivation to feed yourself something is not something that you rationally created. Not like your supercomputer, we'll say ego brain just looks down and says, we must have ice cream today. No, and everybody has things that they want. Most of the things that people want are rooted in what I would call two primary factors, being reproduction and security. Everybody wants to mate or to be loved, although that can be a social element, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and to be secure. There are often other things put in this base desire category, pride, wealth, popularity, superiority, and some things like that. But I find most often not that these relate some way back to reproduction and security, and this could be the reason that you want a new car, because you want to look like a more attractive mate, or because your old car isn't safe and you want a new one, you want to be better, a better house to provide for your family to ensure the reproduction of your offspring, or perhaps as a point of pride, or just to show off exactly how well you're doing, or perhaps you want a new game console because it better establishes you socially with your friends, or you're allowed to better establish your dominance against other people, or new clothes, again, to show off how attractive you may. Now, of course, you're saying that these things aren't true, but ultimately, if you sit down and think about it really, really hard and get down to the very base, core reason, like the original motivator for why we even have these things to begin with, you'll more often or not find that they fall into the reproduction and security desires. And the problem with this, if there is a problem, maybe philosophically or how we normally think about it, is that you don't control your base desires. You don't control exactly what and who you want and how you want it and when you want it. Those sort of things are beyond your logical control, and they're more or less programmed into you, and you can't just change your base motivations. And of course you're saying, well, of course I can. I can want different clothes, I can want a different house, I can decide I never want to reproduce. Maybe, but those are usually pressured on you by external factors. But the example that I would give is, I'm going to use male reproduction here. Let's say you're an ass man. Let's say you like big butts, and you cannot lie, that is your primary attractor to women. You can't just sit there and think about it and be like, you know, I don't think it's a good time of the century to be an ass man. I think I'm going to sit here and we're going to focus really hard and we're going to concentrate as hard as we possibly can, and pop. Now you're a boob man. You like boobs, and now's a good time for boobs, and your base motivation and primary attractors have all changed. That doesn't work. You can get, of course, we all know that doesn't work. There are things about women, or if you're interested in men, that you just like, and that's part of who you are, and you can't just focus really hard and change that. You can also do some interesting analogies here with gay versus straight, some people born versus desire, whatever, but we're not going to get into that too much today. But because you can't change your base motivations or your base wants, the question then rises, are you truly free? We often talk about ourselves as being, we are in control, we have free will, we control our destiny, and blah 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 blah. But if we can't control the things that we want, we do have definitely free action. We can do what we want. But if we can't control the motivations behind our free actions, are we really that free to choose? Are we that free to do as we see fit? And then you're like, well, of course you can choose not to do something. You could choose to self-harm or to delay desire, and we do that just because we've kind of been trained to do that. But even ultimately, that step is another step toward in some way getting something that you want. Even if we'll use the extreme religious example of not sinning or not going after these desires, it's always put off as that you will get more later by doing so. So it's yet another step towards something that you want for some reason. And you can apply this to animals. Like, our animals, do they have the exact same amount of free will we do? They have free choice of action. They think about things before they do them, but they have primary motivations just like we do, and they act accordingly to those. Or robots might be a little bit more of an extreme example because they're not exactly entirely free to act, but they, some of them, the higher forms of AI, are free to act, yet they're programmed to only do a certain thing, to chase a certain thing, kind of like maybe we are. So in a sense, we have freedom of action, but we don't have freedom of motivation, which is an interesting duality with us, is that even some of the things that we might want might be self-harming, but we can't change what we want. We can only continue to want that and in some way work toward it, and external experiences can push changes upon us sometimes, but not always. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I hope you learned something useful. I just wanted to give you a nugget to think about, and my advice would be to sit down and really think about your motivations. Think about the things you want, because when you understand what you desire and why you desire it, your life will be a lot easier. Anyway, if you enjoyed the commentary, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.